My name is Marian Bienvenue, and I'm an educator at the Louisiana Art and Science Museum. And I'd like to welcome you to another virtual version of BASF's Kids Lab. BASF is one of the world's largest chemical companies, and they provide Kids Labs programs like this to encourage children like you to explore the dynamic world of chemistry and to learn about the importance of chemistry in our daily lives. Did you know chemistry is literally all around us? For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Kids Lab is a fun, engaging, award-winning program offered in over 30 countries throughout the world. Germany, Australia, India, Japan, students around the world could be performing experiments just like you are going to do today. It's a great big world, but science has a way of bringing us all together, doesn't it? Chemistry affects all of us in many ways, and we like to say that one of the goals of science is to make the world a better place. In fact, BASF wants to inspire you to be the next generation of scientists, engineers, problem solvers, and critical thinkers to lead us into the future. So, buckle up your seatbelt, or in other words, get ready to have fun creating chemistry with us thanks to BASF today. And for those of you who have participated in Kids Lab before, what's the first thing we always do? That's right. I think I heard you say it. Step one is always safety. A smart scientist is a safe scientist. Can you say that with me? A smart scientist is a safe scientist. Good job. So, before we get started, I am going to put on my safety glasses to prevent anything from getting into my eyes. If you wear glasses every day, those will work just fine. I already have on my BASF apron to keep my clothes clean and protected. It's important to be prepared for anything when it comes to chemistry. Now, if you don't have safety glasses or an apron at home, don't worry. You can still do the experiment, just be extra careful, okay? Now, are you ready to begin today's Kids Lab experiment about chromatography called Candy Loves Chemistry? Well, I love candy and chemistry, so I am super excited. But let's go back to that big vocabulary word, chromatography. What does it mean? The first part of the word is chroma. What does that make you think of? That's right, color. We like to think of chromatography as the study of separating color. During a different chromatography experiment, we learned about the science behind paper chromatography and made beautiful scientific holiday decorations. Today's chromatography experiment is going to be a little sweeter as we dive into the world of candy chromatography. I love candy, but I try to only eat candy as a special treat, so I don't really eat it every day. Now, what could candy have to do with chemistry? What do you think? Let's find out. But first, let's kick things over to Miss Chandra to find out what we will need for our experiment today.
Hello, I'm Chandra Weathers, and I'm the Education Coordinator for the Louisiana Art and Science Museum. As Education Coordinator, I'm constantly coordinating many different classes, activities, and experiments here at the museum. In this case, coordinating means that I organize the required materials or supplies that are needed for the task at hand. Scientists also like to gather supplies and materials ahead of time. So now I'm going to give you your own list of supplies that will be needed for this experiment today. All right, here we go. We will need a cup filled with 1/2 inch of water, a plate, baking sheet, or piece of aluminum foil, coffee filters or filter paper, scissors, a pencil, a stirring rod, string, or pencil to serve as a rack to clip the paper strips to, paper clips, toothpicks, and M&Ms or Skittles. We recommend comparing green and brown if you're using M&Ms. If you're using Skittles, we recommend comparing green and purple. And you can always compare some extra colors if you have more time and more supplies. Okay, time to give you a few moments to gather your supplies. Feel free to pause the video until you are ready.
Welcome back, and thank you, Miss Chandra, for your help coordinating the supplies. Now, it's time for us to follow the directions for our experiment. Are you a good direction follower? I am working on being a good direction follower too. All right, here we go. Step 1, sprinkle drops of water on the plate, baking sheet, or piece of aluminum foil. Step 2, put a piece of candy on a water drop and let the color dissolve. Today, I decided to use M&Ms. You can try Skittles as well. That would just be a different variable. While your candy coating is dissolving, cut 1 6 to 7 inch strip of filter paper for each candy that is tested. Don't forget to label each strip with a pencil. Step 3. Dab or paint a splotch of the colored water onto the filter paper approximately 1 inch from the bottom. Be sure to use a clean toothpick for each color. If you're using different candy of the same color, don't forget to label the strips of paper with a pencil. Step 4. Using paper clips, clip the paper to a string, pencil, or stirring rod. That will make a rack over the cup. Step 5. Stand the paper up in your cup with the spot of color above the waterline. Now, let's wait for about 5 minutes. What is your hypothesis or educated testable guess as we compare the different colored dyes in the different candies? Do you think all of the colors will react or behave in the same way? After about 5 minutes, once the water has seeped to the top of the paper, take the paper out. What do you observe? Look closely to see what you can discover. What happened to the dyes or colors as the water seeped or traveled up the paper? Do you think it dissolved the dyes and carried them along? What do we notice about the colored dyes that dissolved fastest? That's right! They were carried the farthest. This separates the colored dyes. There's a special term for what happens when the water moves up the paper slowly. Do you want to learn the term? It's a phenomenon called capillary action. Why don't you say that word with me? Capillary action. Well, what does it mean? Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance or help of and in opposition to external forces, like gravity. Great job on the vocabulary, friends! I love learning new science words. The water takes the soluble dye stuff from the candy shells with it as it travels up the paper. Hey, soluble is another cool science word. Substances that dissolve completely in water are called soluble. Can you think of other substances that are soluble? Did you say sugar or salt? Well, you are right. What do you observe about these parts right here? Right? Some of them seem to be kind of stubborn. Those stubborn parts cling to the paper intensely, staying behind. The less stubborn parts move on nearly as fast as the water does. So, what have we discovered? Yes, the dyes that are lighter in weight move along with the water. Those are the soluble dyes. Dyes that are heavier in weight, they stay behind. Those are the stubborn ones. Now, not all colors behave this way. What did you observe about the different colors of Skittles or M&Ms? How did the purples, greens, and browns react? Yes, they displayed a rainbow of colors. Did you expect that reaction from the colors, or were you surprised? Was your hypothesis correct? Well, that's great if it was, but if it wasn't correct, that's okay too. Can I tell you a secret? Scientists' hypotheses, well, they're not always correct. And that's just fine, because that's how we learn new things and make new discoveries. What did you observe about the red, yellow, and blue candies? They contain mostly pure components. What other types of candy may yield or produce different results as well? Wow, how cool. Chemistry really is all around us, even in candy. And candy is made of matter, right? And chemistry is definitely the science of matter. Well, you are made of matter, and you matter to us today. And I know some other super special people out there who matter to us, the Girl Scouts. So before we wrap things up today, we would like to introduce you to a friend of both BASF and of our team at the Louisiana Art and Science Museum. Let's say hello to Kayla London from the Girl Scouts Louisiana East.
Hello, Girl Scouts, and welcome to this virtual version of Kids Lab, sponsored by BASF. I am Troop Leader Kayla London, and in the past, our girls have been blessed with many opportunities to play a more active role in our community. Whether it be with troop-planned events, participating in a Take Action project, or attending one of the many Girl Scout gatherings. Times have changed, and Girl Scouts will always adapt and continue to be the preeminent organization for girls, building courage, confidence, character, and developing tomorrow's leaders. Girls are learning to embrace the technology that allows them to participate in great activities from the comfort of their own homes. Today, we will do just that. Each year, Girl Scouts in Southeast Louisiana participate in programming that offers them the chance to practice a lifetime of leadership, adventure, and success. With Girl Scouts at home, girls continue to participate in Girl Scout activities from virtually anywhere. Girl Scouts are able to earn badges through online activities. They participated in virtual summer camps. They've helped their communities, and they continue to gain important life skills. Whether they are making masks for frontline workers or collecting canned goods for hurricane relief, Girl Scouts remain steadfast in their mission to have fun, challenge themselves, and discover new passions, no matter where they are. For more information on our safe and socially distant in-person and virtual events, or to learn about ways to volunteer, visit gsle.org. Thank you, BASF, for your support of Girl Scout Louisiana East by making this virtual presentation possible, and for your history of support in our community, and for your commitment to STEM education.
Thank you, Miss Kayla, and thanks so much for those delicious cookies. It was so kind and generous of you to share with us today. Who knows? Maybe one day we can do an experiment called the chemistry of cookies. That sounds like it would be a very delicious experiment. Since chemistry is literally all around us, be sure to think about how chromatography is useful in daily life. You see, chromatography is used in many different areas of science. For instance, in medicine, to detect narcotics or drugs, in foodstuffs, to identify additives or substances added to the food in small amounts to improve the food or make it last longer. Well, hey, that's another cool science word, additives. In pharmacology, for quality control checks in medicines and cosmetics, in criminology to identify forged documents, and of course, last but not least, in chemistry to examine and separate compound substances. Thank you so much for creating chemistry with us today. Creating chemistry together takes cooperation, coordination, curiosity, following directions, good listening skills, and problem solving. Oh, and don't forget, fun. Because it's so much fun to discover new things, isn't it? Now, we hope you have enjoyed this virtual version of BASF's Kids Lab. We sure have enjoyed learning about chromatography with you today. Be sure to ask an adult to follow the link on the screen for more virtual Kids Labs, designed by BASF just for you, with STEM-based experiments just like the one we completed today. These additional online activities are so much fun. Well, for kids and for adults too. And you don't even need any materials. Just your brilliant brain and your enthusiasm for learning about chemistry. You and your family can still come visit us in person at the Louisiana Art and Science Museum in downtown Baton Rouge. Have an adult check out our website, lasm.org, for our hours of operation, our planetarium schedule, and more information. Special thanks to Kayla London from Girl Scouts Louisiana East for joining us today. And a huge thank you to our amazing partners at BASF for making this presentation possible and for serving our community in so many ways, but especially for providing Kids Lab learning experiences to children all over the world. Bye, friends.